Turn to the side for a second. Look at your hip. See that little dip there? That's not fat sitting on you, and it's not bone poking through. That's a muscle. One that's gone quiet on you without you ever really noticing it happened. And this muscle plays a real part in whether your steps stay steady under you or start to wobble. 5 movements bring it back to life. The last one matters most, so stay with me. Exercise number 5, seated hip abduction. Sit tall toward the front of a sturdy chair, feet flat on the floor about hip-width apart, knees bent at a comfortable angle, shoulders relaxed, back straight against the chair if that helps you stay upright. Place both hands on the outside of your knees, fingers spread for a stable grip. Now slowly press your knees outward against your hands, while your hands press back inward with that same steady resistance, so neither your knees nor your hands actually move. That's the key detail that makes this whole exercise work. Hold that pressing tension for about 5 to 6 seconds. Breathe normally, don't hold your breath, and squeeze the muscle on the side of your hip as you press. Then release slowly and let your legs settle back into a relaxed position. Repeat 10 to 12 times. If one side feels weaker than the other, give it a little extra attention and pause between reps if you need to reset your grip. One thing people tend to do without realizing it, letting the hands overpower the knees so the legs quietly drift inward. Keep that pressure matched evenly on both sides. This muscle, the gluteus medius, sits right on the side of your hip, and it helps stabilize your pelvis with every single step you take. Because you're controlling the resistance yourself here, this is one of the gentlest ways there is to wake it back up. And it takes no equipment at all, so you can do it almost anywhere, any time of day. Exercise number 4, the standing step over. Stand near a sturdy chair or counter, resting one or both hands lightly on it for support. Picture a low fence right beside you, about ankle height, something you need to carefully step over rather than kick through. Slowly and carefully lift one foot up and over that fence, keeping your knees soft rather than locked, and set your foot down to the side with control. Once that foot feels stable and your weight has settled, bring the other foot up and over to meet it, rather than dragging it along the floor. Then reverse the movement, stepping back the other way in that same slow, deliberate manner, one foot at a time. Go slowly rather than quickly, since it's the slower pace that asks more of the muscles on the side of your hip, not how high you lift your foot. Repeat for 6 to 8 steps in each direction, resting for a moment in between if you need to, and stop if you feel anything sharper than mild muscle fatigue. This works the hip muscles on whichever leg is on the ground, since that leg has to stabilize your whole body while the other one moves. If it feels too hard, lift less high. If it feels too easy, move slower rather than lifting faster. The slower and more controlled the step, the more that standing hip has to work to keep you steady. Exercise number 3, the fire hydrant. Get down on your hands and knees, hands directly under your shoulders, knees directly under your hips, and slide a folded towel beneath your knees if the floor feels hard on you. Keep your back flat, not arched, not rounded, and gently draw your stomach in to support your spine, keeping your neck in a neutral position rather than straining to look forward. From here, lift one knee out to the side, keeping it bent at roughly a right angle, as though that leg were swinging open on a hinge at the hip, while your standing hand and knee stay firmly planted for balance. Keep the movement smooth, not jerky, like the leg is moving through water rather than air. Lift only as high as you can while keeping your hips level and facing the floor, without letting your body tilt or twist to help the leg move higher. Pause briefly at the top, then lower with control, slowly enough that you could stop at any point during the lift. Do 10 repetitions, then switch sides. Your body has to resist rotating while that leg moves on its own, And that's exactly what your hips do every time you turn to reach for something beside you. One mistake people make here is letting the hips twist upward, so keep both hip bones pointed toward the floor, even if that means lifting a little less high. It's a small movement to look at, but it asks more of your balance and coordination than it lets on. Exercise number 2, the side-lying hip lift with a rotational focus. Lie on your side on a mat or a folded blanket, bottom leg bent slightly at the knee for stability, head resting on your arm or a small pillow. Extend your top leg straight and bring it slightly behind the line of your body rather than straight out to the side. Then, rotating from the hip joint, turn your entire top leg, thigh, shin, and foot together as one unit, so your toes end up facing the ceiling rather than forward. It's your hip doing the rotating here, not your ankle alone. From this position, lift the leg slowly, keeping it straight and in that rotated position the whole time. Pause briefly at the top, then lower it back down with control rather than letting it drop. Aim for 10 to 12 reps per side, resting a moment between sides if your hip starts to feel fatigued. Keep your breathing steady and even the whole way through. Don't hold it during the lift. This one isn't about lifting the leg high, it's about keeping the movement slow and controlled from start to finish. Real falls rarely happen while you're standing still. They happen when you twist or step awkwardly. And turning the leg this way shifts the effort into deeper hip fibers than a straight leg lift ever would. If you feel it more in your hip flexor than in that outer hip muscle, bring the leg a little less far behind you. And now, exercise number 1, side stepping with a mini squat, the movement everything else on this list has been building toward. Stand close to a countertop or sturdy chair, feet together. Step your right foot out to the right, dipping down into a small squat as it lands, knees soft, not locked. Then bring your left foot in to meet your right foot, standing back up tall as your feet come together. Now, do the same thing the other way. Step your left foot out to the left, dipping down as it lands. Then bring your right foot in to meet your left foot, standing back up tall again. That's one round. Repeat 6 to 8 times. One thing to watch for here, letting the dip turn into a deep squat. Keep it small and shallow. This isn't about how low you go. Every time you dip on the step out, the muscle on the side of your hip has to work to keep your pelvis level and stop it from tipping to one side, while your glutes handle the actual work of the small squat. Standing tall as your feet come together gives you a clear rest point built right into the movement rather than staying low the whole way through. That's exactly what your body needs in real life too, a brief moment of control between one movement and the next rather than being caught off guard mid-motion. That's why this one closes the routine instead of opening it. Together, these 5 movements retrain that same muscle from 5 different angles: gentle pressing tension while seated, continuous stepping while standing, hip control on all fours, rotational control lying on your side, and finally, controlled side-to-side movement while standing. None of this requires rushing, and none of it requires pushing through discomfort. If any movement causes actual pain rather than simple muscle fatigue, ease off it or skip it for now, and check with your doctor first if you're managing any existing joint or balance condition. Give this consistent effort over the next few weeks, a few times a week, resting a day in between if your body asks for it. You don't need every movement to feel easy right away, and you don't need to rush toward the hardest version of any of them. Pay attention not just to how your hips look, but to how steady you feel standing up, walking across a room, or turning to reach for something beside you. That steadiness is really what this has been about all along. A small dip in the mirror is easy to notice and easy to worry about, but the muscle underneath it responds the same way no matter what age you're starting from, with patient, repeated effort. not any single dramatic change.